That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, I want to remind everyone, if you played in a Dynasty Flock League this past season, you got first, second, or third place, make sure you run over to Patreon. Let me know what league. Send me your email. That way I can PayPal you your winnings ASAP. I mean, there are still a couple people that have yet to get to me, and I want to get those winnings out. I do not want to be holding on to them. I'm tired of that. I don't want that stress over my head. I want to give you your money. Please help me. Tell me who you are and send me your PayPal email address. So other than that, this video is going to be very, very exciting. We're going to get to talk about a running back that I was very high on in the 2020 NFL draft. In Dynasty Leagues, I was consistently scooping him up at the very end of the second round. I got so much hate for hyping him up, but this is AJ Dillon. Okay, so complete transparency here, guys. I am recording this before Week 17 kicks off. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers are going to be playing in Week 17 and the NFL playoffs. So if you are watching this after a major AJ Dillon performance in either Week 17 or the playoffs, it's not going to be discussed here. I'm recording this right after his massive Week 16 blow-up. And like I did with DeAndre Swift and like I did with Jonathan Taylor for AJ Dillon, we are going to take a step back. It's so important to look at these running backs in terms of what we thought of them coming into the NFL if we were trying to project them in the future, because we need to see as many data points as possible and we need to know what we are dealing with. So let's look at AJ Dillon coming into the NFL, where he was selected with the 30th pick in the second round of the NFL draft. Personally, this is why I was scooping up AJ Dillon everywhere, and it was because of the team investment. We understand that Aaron Jones is an unrestricted free agent, and instead of going out there and re-signing Aaron Jones this past offseason, instead they drafted AJ Dillon in the second round, which tells us exactly what they are planning on. I mean, it is so simple. This is what I talk about in Dynasty Leagues all the time. There are some very arrogant people that are on either podcasts, writing articles, or making videos who just naturally assume that they can look at a player, they can tell you which one is better, and they can tell you what the outcome is going to be. What I prefer to do is I prefer to look at the profile. I prefer to look at how they would score fantasy points if they get the opportunity. And then I want to look at the team investment and the team moves that are made and see what that tells us in terms of what opportunity may arise. And here's what we saw with AJ Dillon. I mean, a lot of people did not like him coming into the NFL. A lot of people viewed him as a Boston College running back that did not have a receiving role in college and was not going to have that opportunity at the NFL level. And he was parked behind a premier running back in Aaron Jones. But guys, I mean, if you take a running back in the second round, you have plans for him. This is the same round where we saw Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, all going. I mean, AJ Dillon was right there with them. He's 22 years old, which is that exact range that we like for our rookie running backs. And if we look at why the Green Bay Packers most likely decided to take him in the second round, it's because of what he did at the NFL Combine. I mean, he came in at 6 foot, 247 pounds. Obviously, we don't care too much about that. I prefer to look at the BMI, but this is an outlier scenario. If you see this just massive human, you have to take notice. 96th percentile BMI, and what is absolutely absurd is if we look at his 40-yard dash, he ran a 4.53. Now, I understand this does not necessarily just completely pop off the page for you, but if you size adjust this 40 time, this puts him in the 97th percentile. And I know a lot of people want to just run over and compare him to Derrick Henry, and then there's the other crowd that says, guys, don't be silly. He's not the same type of athlete as a Derrick Henry. Well, let me pull up the numbers for you. Let me show you what the difference between these two running backs coming into the NFL was, besides college production. Obviously, Derrick Henry blew AJ Dillon out of the water in that category. But Derrick Henry was selected with the 14th pick in the second round of his own draft. He was 6 foot 3 inches, 247 pounds. So he actually had a lot less in terms of his BMI percentile. He was in the 67th percentile for BMI. Same weight as AJ Dillon. The only difference is he had 4 extra inches on him. 3 extra inches. And then if we look at what he did in the 40-yard dash, he actually ran a slower 40-yard dash than AJ Dillon. I mean, they were almost equivalent in a 4.54 compared to AJ Dillon's 4.53, but still, we are looking at AJ Dillon being a bigger running back with the same level speed. Now, I am not projecting AJ Dillon to have that same type of production as a Derrick Henry, as that is a complete outlier, but this is why he was such a strong value in Dynasty rookie drafts, and this is why we have him in so many Flock Patreon leagues, because you look at those other running backs that were going in the second round of the NFL draft compared to where they were going in the rookie drafts. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was a consistent top 3 pick in Superflex leagues. DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, all mid-first round picks, and then you were getting AJ Dillon at the very end of the second, sometimes early third. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous how some people wanted to be so confident and that he was not going to succeed. They wanted to be so confident in their own talent evaluations. They ignored what the Green Bay Packers decided to tell us. And if we look at what he's done so far his rookie season, I mean, yes, it has not been inspiring in the least. I mean, he's had 45 carries so far, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. But if we look at what happened this past week in week 16, I mean, this is pretty much all of the production. He had 21 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a reception. Now here, obviously, this is not going to be something that can maintain every single week with Aaron Jones in this offense. But if we look over to Aaron Jones, he's currently 26 years old. Aaron Jones is the same age as Todd Gurley. I know a lot of people don't want to set that in, but please understand that these running backs fall off this cliff so fast. I mean, very rarely do you see a highly productive running back at 26, 27, 28. I mean, it just does not happen. I mean, we see Le'Veon Bell's last productive season being 2015. We see, I'm sorry, not 2015, his age 25 season. We see players like Ezekiel Elliott falling off in 2020. We see David Johnson. Last time he was productive was 2016. We see these guys just fall off so quickly from the very top. So here with Aaron Jones, what is the incentive for the Green Bay Packers to go out there and give him that massive deal? Because Aaron Jones is going to demand a large deal in that he has been playing as a 5th round drafted rookie. I mean, he is on that rookie contract still. Aaron Jones has barely made any money in the NFL. I know a lot of people want to say, Mason, you're an idiot. Aaron Jones has made a ton. This is what the normal person makes in the United States. But no, guys, for an NFL player, Aaron Jones has made pennies. Last year on the deal, he is going to be looking to get paid. Given the investment that the Green Bay Packers made into AJ Dillon, I would be very surprised if they decide to re-sign Aaron Jones. And this is not even mentioning that they have that massive hole at their wide receiver 2 spot. So that money would be best spent elsewhere. That would be much better spent going and getting a Juju Smith-Schuster, a Chris Godwin, a Kenny Golladay, any of those players. And then if we look at the other running back in the backfield, this is Jamal Williams, 26 years old soon. He's also on the last year of his rookie contract, and he's had a ton of production so far this year, over 100 carries, over 700 total yards, and over 30 receptions. I mean, even if we see Aaron Jones re-sign in Green Bay, if AJ Dillon just takes up this Jamal Williams role, plus usage at the goal line, I mean, AJ Dillon could be a running back 2 in fantasy and the best offense in the NFC. And then if we also look at the potential that Aaron Jones has gone, AJ Dillon could slide up into a high-end running back 2 role. And then obviously we have no concerns about the offense going forward. A great offensive line. They're going to have a solid quarterback for a very long time. Whether or not you think Aaron Rodgers is there for the next 5 seasons, they have Jordan Love sitting right behind him, another first-round quarterback that drew comparison to Patrick Mahomes coming into the NFL. And then if we are looking at other running backs in the 2021 draft class, I mean, really, there are not that many options. I mean, you have Travis Etienne, you have Najee Harris. Outside of that, I mean, you have a cluster of guys. Chuba Hubbard a year ago looked like he was going to be the man, but really nothing has happened since then. So I'll be saying that with a player like AJ Dillon, I mean, he is going to continue to rise. A lot of people were just foolish in looking at this situation, and this is a major lesson that can be taken away. Very similar to why we have so much Josh Allen in Dynasty leagues, is because, guys, during the draft process, I promise you, these draft nets are going to be out here. These fantasy football analysts are going to be saying this player is not worth anything. This player is not going to work out at the NFL level. They're going to tell you they have all the answers, and really they're just watching tape and then just trying to base it on that, when these NFL teams spend millions of dollars trying to acquire this talent. So please, instead of putting all of your faith into your favorite fantasy or dynasty analyst, please, let's try to take a step back as we just did. Let's try to look at the profile of these players, and let's try to look at what the teams are telling us in the NFL, because the teams are the ones with all the information. The teams are the ones that we should be listening to. Well, that's it. That's all I got for y'all. Really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Really hope y'all got something from it. Please go down there. Let me know what you are doing with AJ Dillon in Dynasty. If you're buying, selling, holding, he's a player that I'm going to be holding on tight to. I can guarantee you that his value is going to continue to increase as the offseason goes on, just because people are going to be looking around going, oh my God, we missed the boat on AJ Dillon. We're going to have to go out there. We're going to have to buy him high.